The conference room fell so silent that even the hum of the air conditioner sounded loud. 20 executives stared at the man standing near the glass wall, a cardboard box resting on the polished table in front of him. At the head of the room, CEO Richard Caldwell crossed his arms. "If you're not willing to follow my direction," he said, his voice calm but sharp, "then do as I said, or quit." Nobody expected anyone to actually choose the second option. Especially not Daniel Brooks. A single father. A senior engineer. The man who quietly solved problems no one else could. Daniel looked around the room, nodded once, and simply said, "Okay." He reached into his desk drawer. Picked up a framed photo of his 8-year-old daughter. Placed it gently inside the box. And walked toward the door. No argument. No anger. No dramatic speech. Just quiet dignity. The room remained frozen. What happened over the next few weeks would change not only one company, but every person who had witnessed that meeting. 3 years earlier, Daniel Brooks never imagined he would become both mom and dad overnight. His wife, Emily, had passed away after a sudden illness that left the family shattered. Their daughter, Lily, was only 5. Daniel learned how to braid hair by watching online videos. He burned more pancakes than he cared to admit. He packed school lunches with handwritten notes that always ended the same way. "Love you bigger than the sky." Every morning started before sunrise. Breakfast. Laundry. School drop-off. A 45-minute commute into downtown Chicago. Then a full day designing software systems for Harrison Dynamics, one of the country's fastest-growing logistics companies. He wasn't flashy. He didn't compete for attention. He simply did exceptional work. Whenever a system crashed. Whenever a project stalled. Whenever 2 departments blamed each other. Someone eventually asked, "Has Daniel looked at it yet?" More often than not, he quietly fixed it. Then went home in time to help Lily with homework. That balance mattered more than promotions. Richard Caldwell had become CEO only 6 months earlier. Brilliant. Driven. Demanding. Investors loved him. Employees weren't so sure. Richard believed great companies required complete commitment. Late nights. Weekend availability. Constant visibility. If people care enough, he often said, they'll make time. He wasn't intentionally cruel. He simply believed sacrifice looked the same for everyone. That assumption would become his biggest mistake. The conflict began during preparations for the company's largest product launch. Pressure mounted daily. One Monday morning Richard announced a new policy. Starting immediately, he declared, all senior staff are expected in the office from 7 in the morning until at least 7 in the evening. A murmur spread through the room. Someone asked carefully, "Is this temporary?" "It lasts until launch." Another voice. "What about employees with caregiving responsibilities?" Richard answered without hesitation. "We all have responsibilities." Daniel felt every eye slowly drift toward him. He cleared his throat. "Richard, may I say something?" "Go ahead." "I completely understand the importance of this launch. I've never missed a deadline." "You haven't. But I pick up my daughter every afternoon. I don't have family nearby. I can work from home after she goes to bed. I can start earlier. I can be available online. But 12 hours in the office isn't something I can do." Richard folded his hands. "This isn't negotiable." Daniel remained respectful. "I'm asking for flexibility, not special treatment. If I receive flexibility, everyone will want it." Silence. Then Richard delivered the sentence that would echo throughout the building. "You either do as I said." He paused. "Or quit." Daniel looked down at the notebook lying open in front of him. Inside was a drawing Lily had slipped into his bag that morning. It showed the two of them holding hands under a rainbow. Across the top she had written in crooked letters, "Best dad ever." Daniel smiled sadly. Then looked back at Richard. "I appreciate the opportunity I've had here." He stood. "I choose my daughter." No applause. No dramatic music. Just stunned silence. He packed his desk. Shook hands with coworkers. Thanked the receptionist for always remembering Lily's birthday. Then walked out carrying one cardboard box and the confidence that some decisions don't require certainty, only clarity. That evening Lily opened the front door before he could unlock it. "Daddy." She wrapped her arms around him. "You're home early." Daniel hugged her tightly. "I think we're going to spend more afternoons together." She smiled. "Really?" "For a little while." She looked at him with the straightforward honesty only children possess. "That's my favorite kind of surprise." Finding another job wasn't easy. Daniel submitted applications. Attended interviews. Waited. Savings slowly disappeared. He sold an old motorcycle he hadn't ridden in years. Cancelled subscriptions. Cooked simple meals. Never once let Lily feel frightened. Instead they called it their adventure budget. Friday pizza became homemade pizza. Movie theater nights became blanket forts in the living room. They laughed just as much. Sometimes more. Meanwhile, Harrison Dynamics began experiencing unexpected problems. Daniel had been more than an engineer. He understood how every department connected. Without him, small technical issues became expensive delays. Teams argued. Deadlines slipped. Employees quietly questioned leadership. Exit interviews increased. Human resources noticed a pattern. People weren't leaving because of salaries. They were leaving because they no longer felt seen. One afternoon Richard walked through the engineering floor. The atmosphere felt different. Conversations stopped when he passed. People worked hard. But the warmth had vanished. He overheard two employees talking in the break room. "I miss Daniel." "Yeah. He always listened. He made people feel like they mattered." Richard kept walking. Yet those words followed him all day. A week later he visited his father, Harold, who had built the company decades earlier before retiring. Harold poured 2 cups of coffee. "You look tired." Richard sighed. "I'm trying to push everyone toward excellence." Harold smiled gently. "And how's that working?" "We're behind. People resist change." Harold leaned back. "Do you remember your Little League coach?" Richard laughed. "The one who always bought ice cream after games?" "What made him memorable?" "He believed in us." Harold nodded. "He expected excellence. But first, he earned trust." Richard grew quiet. His father continued. "A leader who only asks for sacrifice eventually runs out of people willing to sacrifice." That conversation stayed with Richard. He requested anonymous employee feedback. The responses were difficult to read. "I don't feel like a person anymore. My family thinks I've disappeared. We aren't machines." One comment struck hardest. When Daniel left, many of us realized loyalty only goes one direction. Richard closed the report. For the first time, he wondered whether success measured only in quarterly earnings was actually failure. 3 months after leaving, Daniel had started something unexpected. While interviewing, he'd noticed small manufacturers struggling with outdated software they couldn't afford to replace. Instead of waiting indefinitely for another corporate position, he began consulting from a small office near his daughter's school. He charged fair prices. Explained technology in everyday language. Trained employees instead of making them dependent. Business owners recommended him to friends. Slowly. Steadily. His tiny company grew. Not because he chased growth. Because he built trust. One rainy Tuesday morning, his assistant walked in. "You have a visitor." Daniel looked up. Standing in the reception area was Richard Caldwell. Not surrounded by executives. Not carrying authority. Just holding an umbrella. Richard smiled awkwardly. "Do you have a few minutes?" Daniel invited him inside. They sat across from one another. For several moments neither spoke. Finally Richard broke the silence. "I owe you an apology." Daniel waited. "I confused commitment with obedience. I believed fairness meant treating everyone exactly the same. I ignored the reality that people carry different responsibilities. I was wrong." The room remained quiet. Richard continued. "When you walked away, I thought you were giving up. Now I realize. You were standing up for what mattered." Daniel appreciated the honesty. "Thank you for saying that. I didn't come to convince you to return." Richard said. "I came because I needed to tell you." And he slid a folder across the table. "Our company needs help. We'd like to hire your consulting firm." Daniel opened the folder. The proposed partnership included something unexpected. Flexible scheduling requirements. Family support policies. Remote collaboration. Leadership training. Richard smiled. "We've been making changes. I'd like your team to help us make more." Daniel looked through the proposal carefully. Then closed it. "I have one condition." Richard nodded. "Name it." "I want every manager to attend workshops on understanding employees as people, not just job titles. No lectures. Real conversations. Parents. Caregivers. Veterans. Young professionals. People taking care of aging parents. Everyone has a story. If leaders don't know those stories, they'll never lead well." Richard extended his hand. "Deal." The workshops began a month later. No PowerPoint filled with corporate buzzwords. Instead, employees shared experiences. One manager admitted he'd been caring for a wife recovering from surgery. Another confessed she was raising 2 nephews after her sister passed away. An accountant revealed he spent every weekend driving his father to chemotherapy appointments. People who had worked together for years suddenly understood one another. Empathy replaced assumptions. Conversations changed. Policies changed. The culture slowly changed. Near the end of the year, Harrison Dynamics held its annual employee appreciation event. Instead of celebrating only financial achievements, they honored acts of teamwork, mentorship, and kindness. Richard stepped onto the stage. "I used to think leadership meant having all the answers." He looked toward Daniel, seated beside Lily in the front row. "I've learned that leadership begins with listening." He paused. "Some of the most important lessons I've ever received came from someone who quietly packed a cardboard box and walked away." The audience applauded. Daniel looked embarrassed. Lily whispered, "They're clapping for you." He smiled. "No. They're clapping for what we all learned." After the ceremony ended, Lily tugged on Richard's sleeve. "Mr. Caldwell?" He knelt to meet her eye level. "Yes?" She handed him a folded piece of paper. "I made you something." Inside was another drawing. This one showed many people standing together outside a big office building. Above them, in colorful letters, she had written, "Kind people build better teams." Richard laughed softly. "I think I'm going to frame this." "You should," Lily said confidently. "So you don't forget." I won't. Years later, visitors entering Harrison Dynamics noticed something engraved into the lobby wall. Not the company's mission statement. Not a list of profits. Just one simple sentence. People remember how you made them feel long after they forget what you demanded. Employees often asked where the quote came from. Richard always smiled. It came from a lesson I learned the hard way. Sometimes standing up for kindness doesn't sound loud. Sometimes it looks like quietly choosing your family. Sometimes it means walking away from something good to protect something priceless. Daniel never intended to teach his former CEO a lesson. He simply refused to abandon the little girl waiting at school each afternoon. His courage didn't change the world overnight. But it changed one workplace. One leader. Hundreds of families. And perhaps most importantly, it showed that respect is never created through fear. It grows through understanding. Because the strongest leaders aren't the ones who demand loyalty. They're the ones who inspire it. And the greatest success isn't measured by how many people stay because they have to, but by how many choose to stay because they know they matter.